Okay, well, I am so excited tonight to have my friend Jodi Anderson with us. Jodi is a senior Ruby ambassador, and that's really special. And then the other really amazingly special thing about her is that she is a mama to 10. Yes, I said 10 children, both biological and adopted. And she has this a really amazing story, a neat heart. And I wanted her to share tonight because I think so many times we think that we have lots of things that keep us from our business, and we do, and they're all really good things. But if we can learn from someone who's really had to juggle lots, I think that it'll open our eyes to new ways to approach our business and be dedicated and maybe find the time because it's worth it. So I'll turn it over to you, Jodi. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I was really nervous tonight.
Nervous.
I'm like, sometimes you just think, what do I have to offer anybody? And I'm just nobody.
No, that's not true.
I'm just a mom who, does what she does. But I talking to other people, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Or just hearing it from somebody else just always makes a lot of sense. So I was praying that the Lord would use that to help me help others tonight. Just see your potential and see the potential that we have in Plexus to not only change our families' lives, but also the lives of other people. Which has just been so mind-blowing to me since I started this 2.5 years ago. Right. Never thought that was ever going to happen. So I heard about Plexus on Facebook, and I have notes here because
that's fine. I love that.
I get sidetracked all the time. So, and I saw a bunch of people posting about it, and thought, oh my goodness, the newest scam, whatever. I'm gonna run away from that. Until my friend Rebecca, she started posting, and I think she said I responded to like her second post. So she was shocked, but because I knew Rebecca more than the other friends that I saw posting. I knew their values. I knew, just their family life. And I thought, okay, well, there might be something to this if Rebecca's into it. And though she had posted some things about weight loss, she didn't need to lose any weight. So it's kind of like, well, why is she doing this if, and feeling good? She didn't have any weight to lose, So I went ahead and became a retail customer. And my main focus was to prove that it was a scam. So that's why I didn't want anything to do with Preferred. I didn't want anything to do with Ambassador. I was like, one-time shot, and we'll just prove, and I can tell everybody else doesn't work. Thank you very much. Bye. That was my goal. $100. It was going to be good to go. Little I know, about 4 days in, total different. My health, I just had more energy. My addiction to Diet Coke was gone. Like, I didn't even know it could help with that. And honestly, if I did, I probably wouldn't have tried it. It was my only vice. And so I decided at that point that we had at that point we had 9 kids, and we lived not paycheck to paycheck, but we budgeted a lot. Never went out to eat, never went to the movie theater, always had to tell the kids no. Loved hand-me-downs because that was the only way my kids were going to get new clothes, that kind of thing. And so I thought, well, maybe if I can even earn enough money that we can go out to a restaurant once a month, or when the newest kids movie comes out, I can take them to the theater and I don't have to say, hey, wait 6 months, you will get the DVD. that was my first goal. Little did I know what the Lord had in store with Plexus. Like I said, at that point, we had 9 kids, 3 biological and 6 adopted. And our adopted kids are from China and Ethiopia, so all international adoptions. We had just adopted 2 boys from China about 6 months prior. And before we even left China, we knew God was telling us that our daughter was still in China. So we didn't know who she was. We didn't know where she was. But that time leaving China was just heart-wrenching because we knew she was there. We just didn't know where or who. So getting home, one of our sons that we just brought home had a lot of medical issues. And so we were dealing with that, but still knew that there was a little girl in China waiting for us. So I had prayed and prayed for really since our 2 boys came home for some kind of part-time job. I knew my only free time was really about midnight to about 3 in the morning. And so didn't know what kind of part-time job that would be, except for stocking shelves at Walmart. But then my rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia had been so bad that I wouldn't have lasted very long. So that was really not an option either. And there's no way I was going to put my new kids who lived 5 years in an orphanage into a daycare and be in the same situation. So when I decided to take a chance on Plexus and see if I could earn a little bit of money for our family, because I'd been praying for a part-time job, I said, okay, if this is the part-time job that I'm supposed to have, I will commit part-time hours. So 4 hours a day, 5 days a week was what I was going to commit to. And that was hard to find, but when you're given something, you better go do it, right? And so I definitely started out doing 4 hours a day and enjoyed it. Whether it was going to an event, I'm like, okay, there's 2 hours there. Because you learn so much by going to events. Just talking to the person sitting next to you, you learn so much. Listening to training calls, and I would get on the team pages and just somebody would ask a question, how do you take to slim, or what if someone doesn't like the taste? And I would just read through all the comments and just really educate myself through that. And that would be my training. And so that would be worth my 4 hours. And really that's what I did before I had any customers. Like 4 hours, you don't have to be talked to when you start, you don't have any customers, you don't have, but you can train yourself prior to. So I also, started to post on Facebook once or twice a day, and my business started growing. And about halfway in my first month, my sponsor said, because my goal was $500 a month, and she said, okay, you've already got that, and you still got half a month to go. So keep going. I said, okay, I don't know. Still hadn't seen the compensation plan, had no clue. So didn't really know what to expect. So I was like, okay. So I just kept going. Went silver my first month and doubled my goal for my paycheck. So that was cool. I was like, okay, there's something to this. Still don't know what the compensation plan is, but woohoo. Okay. My oldest son was studying business, and he looked at the compensation plan and he's like, well, this can't work because the company's not earning any money. And I was like, well, it makes sense how it's written out. He's like, that can't be. Well, that's how it works. So anyway, like I said, I took my business seriously. I made time for it. There's no way I could have sat for 4 hours and worked 4 hours straight. It's even 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Like I said, when my sons had a lot of medical issues, especially the first 2 years he was home, and so we were a lot of doctor appointments. And He had about 7 surgeries the first 2 years he was home. And so that's when I would use my phone and check up on people, follow up on people. Any potentials, I'd follow up. I'd have 10 minutes sitting in the waiting room, and that's what I did. If I had a call to listen to it in the car on the way to the hospital. It all worked. And I'm like, okay, there's my hour. And I would make my checklist to see. And at night, my husband has this thing about me sitting on the couch with him while he watches TV. Like, he didn't care if I'm watching as long as I'm sitting there. So I would do a lot of, reading and stuff like that while we were watching TV. But it's amazing how many hours you can actually find that are being wasted, or, relaxing, which is good. You got to do that. But I definitely wasted that time. And so through Plexus, so we knew we were being called to adopt another little girl. So we found her and started her adoption process. And our 2 previous boys before that had been home for 6 months, we had fundraised every penny for their adoption. And we're talking $50,000. Okay, so that's a lot of fundraising, and that's a lot of begging from friends that I so didn't want to do again. It's really humbling to fundraise. But God was just building this business like crazy. And so about 4 months in, my husband and I said, I think God's telling us there's a boy in China also. And that week we found him and got approved for him. And so not only did God bring Plexus in our life for our health, but he also brought 2 kiddos home to us through our Plexus paycheck. And that's just crazy. Never, ever did I see that happening. But once you commit your time, it is amazing what can happen. My first 3 ambassadors are still with me. They're still my strongest legs, so I love that. It's really fun to do it together. But and another fun thing was this time when we went to China, I was able to bring my husband and I, and then our 2 oldest, well, not our oldest, but second and third, 2 of our big kids got to go with us to China. They'd never been, because we could never afford extra tickets. I mean, that's expensive. And we actually got to spend a week in Beijing with them prior to meeting our adopted kids. So that is just a luxury never, ever thought possible. I've only known adoption trips as kind of business trips, like you go, get it done, get out of there. But we actually were able to enjoy ourselves and have that time with our big kids too, which was really special. Not everybody's been to China, so it was kind of cool. So we actually have 11 kids. So, we are crazy busy. We have 5 in club, well, 3 in club soccer, 2 in rec soccer, 1 in competitive gymnastics. And so it's crazy busy. We have, as I said, we have a lot of doctor appointments. We have a little girl with hydrocephalus and 3 little people with dwarfism. And so there's a lot of doctor appointments, but it works. It really does. And one thing I really encourage y'all to do, well, a couple things. So your daily method of operation, this helps me just stay focused. I mean, even if I write in my calendar 3 people that I want to touch base with the next day, they can pop in my head at noon on Monday, and I know my Monday's crazy, but I'll write them down on Tuesday. Okay. So that also makes me commit to that person on Tuesday. So write it down wherever you can, or put it in your phone or whatever. And sometimes I put alarms on on my phone. Check in with so-and-so. And it makes me do it, because then I push the snooze, and it'll drive me nuts if I push snooze many times. So whatever works for you, do that. Make sure you do your income producing activities first. If you only have 20 minutes a day, it's amazing what we can get done in 20 minutes. I almost love it more when I have a really busy day and I have like 30 minutes from dropping kids off at school to having to go somewhere else, because I get it done in 30 minutes of what could take me 4 hours. Like, seriously. Because I'll stay more focused and just get it done and have my checklist, and, not go, oh, there's laundry over there, let's fold it. But to actually stay focused. What I've been doing lately, and it's been working really well, is involving my kids. So my oldest at home right now is 17. So we only have 9 at home right now. 2 are in college. And so, and then we have 12-year-old, 2 10-year-olds, 2 8-year-olds, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Trying to get them not to ask me questions and that when I'm out, or, at home on the phone, because as soon as you pick up the phone, kids are there, right? Kids and dogs. They're on you immediately. But give them a purpose. What's their job when you're on the phone? When you're talking to somebody out in public? I mean, I've got, 8 little ones when I'm out, and I have to keep an eye on them and stuff. But when they know I'm talking Plexus to somebody, or I'm just building a relationship with somebody, they know now to settle down and let me work. Because they have their goal that they want to go to Disney World. So they have a purpose to let mom work. It's not just this job is getting in the way of our family time or anything like that. They know there's a purpose for them, and they're loving that. They're loving that. I mean, they keep, okay, mom. And my 10-year-old daughter, she's like, because we have this big old van, 12 passenger, and she's like, I can't wait for you to get your Lexus to drive me to gymnastics so we don't have to take the big van, and I'm like, that'd be great, girl. I'm like, she keeps me focused sometimes, because she sees the big picture, because kids can dream, and we get stuck in our little bubble and we forget that. And so sharing with your family, I think, is so important, because they'll keep you focused. And even I'm in my bedroom, but in my bedroom, my 5-year-old said, you're going to a meeting? You have your pajamas on. And my older girls were like, well, just on the bottom.
That's awesome. I love it.
Sorry.
That's too cute. I love it.
But I mean, they see that's kind of cool. And, dad's putting them to bed. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, at first they didn't like it, but they're getting to it. It's okay. Mom's been home all day. She can give up 10 minutes of tucking me in tonight. It's okay. And so I just encourage y'all to involve family. Let them know what your goals are, what you want, and what they can get out of it too. When I first started, I started in the end of September, and the summer before, they were all wanting to go to a water park in town. And there's no way I was going to afford for 11 family members to go to that park. There's no way. And so the next summer we went. We rented a cabana. We had unlimited drinks. We had food. I didn't bring a cooler, nothing. It was a party. And I told them, thank you for your time. This is because you guys did it.
Wow.
And they're like so excited, and they were just, and they get it. If we present it that way to them, hey, we get to do this. We get to even go to McDonald's today because you guys helped me out. Just letting them see that, I think, is huge. and they'll encourage you for sure. And husbands too.
I know we don't have much more time with you. I know you have about maybe 10 minutes or so with us. And so a couple things that I think really stand out, Jodi, and I love your heart and I love the groundedness that you have, because you're like, I'm just doing what God's called me to do. But when you're called to do something and God brings you something, and you use what you have and bring before him, I think he has multiplied your time or multiplied your efforts with your business, because you came to him with a sacrificial heart that I'm going to lay before you and do what I can. I don't know how many mamas would say, well, okay, I have between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm not going to give up any other time but my own time to rest my body to make my family's life better. And I think if we're, most of us would say if we were pushed to that point, but I don't think the society and the day that we live in, for the most of us, don't live a lifestyle that renders that kind of sacrifice. So that's why I wanted to hear your story. You guys also don't know, and I didn't share this at the beginning, that Jodi's PV runs around $3,000, correct? Or more?
Yeah.
$3,000 to $4,000 every month as well. So the fruit of your labor is very evident in the growth of your team and in your constant PV. And what I love is that where so many of us would like to say, well, but this is why my business isn't growing, because I don't have the time to give to it like maybe you do, or somebody else that I see being successful, that you didn't have the time. I love that you took a check mark and said, okay, I'm going to stay faithful and balance this out to my family and all their needs, that I'm not just doing Plexus 100% of the time and letting everybody else kind of figure it out, but that you've given yourself this checks and balances, and then to really figure out how to do it in the nooks and crannies, and that it doesn't take 8 hours a day. It really doesn't take 8 hours a day. And not every day takes 4 hours a day.
Right.
But it's that consistency of probably just building your knowledge base, your relationships, and pouring into yourself for your business, and then doing your IPAs, and that can comprise that time. So I am thrilled. Do you have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you guys have a question for Jodi and you're muted, unmute yourself and ask away. Anybody? I know everybody might be overwhelmed.
Don't be.
Any questions?
I don't necessarily have a question for you. I'm proud of you for being able to do that. I have 4 kids, and I can't imagine having 11 kids and doing it. And I was late to the beginning, so I didn't really hear a lot of what you had to say. But I heard 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. That was pretty crazy. And I heard between doctor's appointments, or if you had 30 minutes or whatever here and there. I don't want to take up anybody else's time, but if you just had 1 or 2 other things maybe that I missed, or we can email or whatever, that's fine too. But absolutely. I just thought I would ask about it.
It was just kind of our story, but I set out for Plexus to fail. Like when I became a retail customer first, to prove it didn't work. And so honestly, that was my mindset at first. And my mindset was, okay, maybe I can do a little bit. Like I didn't see the big picture at first. And even after I went silver my first month, I still didn't, because I hadn't gotten with my sponsor to go over the compensation plan. So it wasn't for about 2 months that I actually knew about what it really was doing. Like my son was majoring in business. He's like, well, what's your paycheck going to be? I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just working. They told me to do this. I'm doing it. And really, probably week 3 or 4, Alicia McKee is my diamond upline now. She was Ruby then. But she had Celeste Gwen at her house, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. I don't know these people. My sponsor wasn't going, but I was like, I'm going to go and find out. And that was when I was like, what in the world is going on here? And I had to find out more. So I really encourage events And Zoom calls. I mean, you get so much from Zoom calls. It's great because I know there's not events everywhere. But anytime you can, I would say go to convention, but if we're not signed up already, that's kind of a hard one.
There's 500 spots.
There's a wait list.
There's a wait list, and there's 500 spots that still need to be filled. So
oh, there is?
Yes, that was on the email tonight. So those other 500 spots have to go to somebody. Why not be you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Steph, this is recorded, so if you wanted to go back, I'll have the link on the page so you can go back and watch it from beginning to end. But Jodi is a senior Ruby, will be an Emerald Ambassador before we know it. And I love, too, that you have involved your kids, because I know for our successes, for our family, that we can make concessions and sacrifices now by the explanation and impartation of showing them that the alternative would be for you to be at daycare all day, or the alternative would be for daddy to be at home with you at night and mom to be off working somewhere. So if we're on there together, if we're all in this together and realize that, yes, if if we set a family goal to go to Disney World, then mom's going to work this is when mom's on a Zoom call that's working towards that goal for everybody. So I love how you involve your kids. I think that's awesome. All right, it is 8:30, and we're going to honor Jodi's time. She has to go jump on another call. That's okay. We so appreciate the time and your story, and I know lots of our other team that weren't here tonight will really benefit and enjoy getting to hear you, so thank you again.
You bet. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Team Mango, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Great to see you as always, and go Plexus.